Alrighty, hello. I feel like Technoblade doing a little podcast while playing Skywars. Alright, so as about none of you know, I made an SMP like a month ago. And I mean that SMP is still up. I'm actually doing great now. I'm gonna complete restart. It's gonna go great. Trust me, it's definitely not what I'm about to say is not gonna happen again. So why don't you go ahead and join? I might put it in the description of the video. But basically, one day I wanted to make an SMP, and I kind of just did that, you know. I made a Discord. I kind of had an idea, you know, all the SMPs that kind of had like weird plugins. It was just all superpowers and gems and different items that gave you superpowers. It was all boring, you know. So I decided like, oh, I'll make a vanilla SMP. It'll be cool, and people will love it. But I was very, very wrong. Okay, the difference between me and Technoblade is I'm very bad at this game. But yeah, I went ahead and started the SMP. I made a little promo, deleted the first one, got my old friend from school to make me a new little logo. Looks pretty cool. I'm still using that logo. Kind of added some stuff to it, but yeah. And then, you know, I made the server. I used Modrinth because, you know, it just looked like a bang for my buck, I guess. And then I don't really know what to say. I've never really like tried to just talk while playing the game before. That definitely was a fair fight. You think I could use a pickaxe? It does hit faster. Alright, I'm getting off track. So I started the SMP. I started way too soon because the entire there was like a riot basically inside the Discord telling me to start up, and I wasn't ready to start up. You know, we didn't have enough players, but we had a decent amount of players, and I decided to start, so I did. And then we started off. We only had like 6 people online for the actual start, and went ahead and did it. It was a pretty good map, actually. I don't know how I got such a good seed. It had a bunch of different biomes and everything, and a bunch of cool structures underground, and the spawn was a bunch of mountains and everything. You can actually see what the old the original SMP is my only video that's actually good. You know, I ran an election on my SMP. It's actually not that good, but I would say you should watch it if you really want to help me out here. But that was good. And then afterwards, the way that it went, it was with how the rules were, it was either building based or it was PvP based. There was not really a way to kind of mix the two. Someone would always complain, and if the point was to make everyone happy, I can't really do that, you know? So I kind of started to scrap the idea. You know, I honestly got a little bit mad because everybody was complaining, and then specifically the PvPers, everybody, all of them started whining and everything, because like a while ago I had let some guy build underground, and the rules were you can't grief above ground builds, but you can grief underground builds. This guy wanted to make a cool underground casino, so I let him, you know? And then after I did that, like literally weeks later, just because they were enemies with him, they started to complain about that. Which, I mean, they're a little bit right. I would say so. But I wasn't just going to change that just out of nowhere. God, don't die, don't die. So I went ahead and completely, like, destroyed the entire SMP. I, like, just gave everybody creative mode and kind of just spawned wardens everywhere. But it was cool. Then I decided to restart, you know, since they started like being really weird and everything. The PvPers, after I had reset the SMP, started being really weird, started accusing me of stuff, started sending old clips of me saying things, and I just kind of banned all of them. And I mean, the clips are real. If like anybody ends up seeing them, I'm not gonna say they aren't, but it was a while ago. That's all I'll say. But then I started the new SMP, and the new goal was to just make a building SMP, because, you know, I never really liked PvP. I kind of just did it so that way everybody would be happy. But, you know, after, obviously, that idea got scrapped, I couldn't do that anymore. So I went ahead and made a building SMP, and I didn't even get new people at the time. I kind of just reset the server. Everybody was a little bit confused, the people who weren't on. And then when I restarted, I was like, oh, it's a building SMP now, guys. And people were like, yay, because I banned all the PvPers. And, you know, it was nice for a while. I kind of like this. The start of it was okay. I made a cool house far away. Then I come back to spawn, and it's a bunch of tents. Literally, it was a bunch of tents at spawn. Like someone had used a string duper and made a bunch of wool and just made a bunch of really crappy tents at spawn. And I was like, yeah, you gotta get rid of these, man. And it turns out that would be the only build at spawn that wasn't made by me, because a couple days later, yeah, there's nothing at spawn, and we made a little shopping district. There was like a river. Across the river we had a bridge, and then there was the shopping district. There was a bunch of shops there. They actually looked cool. Then you look over at spawn, it's bland as heck, and there's nothing there. So I'm like, you know what, I've barely made any builds. I've just been getting good gear. I've been using villagers for the first time, and then I made the entire spawn, right? And then that was it. Nobody else made anything. The next couple days I tried to run an election again. It was kind of just like a one-time wonder, and then I tried to run it back again like a crappy YouTuber that I am, and it went alright. And then all my footage corrupted of it, even though I tied with the winner, who I just ended up giving the winner the presidency role, because why would the owner be the president of the SMP? So I just let him have it. And then, after that, I didn't have too many ideas for events, because that was what made it cool. It was still going to be vanilla, but I ran events. That's what made it awesome. And I didn't really have too many ideas for it, because it was still, the lack of ideas was still there from when I originally started. When I started, I wasn't ready because I didn't have enough ideas for events and everything. None of them were ready. The only thing I had was the election, and I thought of that off a whim. So I had no ideas. Then I held a comedy night, because I thought, you know what, that'd be cool. Let's hold a little comedy night. I'll make a club. And that kind of made me realize everything was horrible. Like the mistakes I had made along the way. I had just done everything wrong when trying to make an SMP. And the main problem wasn't even me. I love these people. They're great, but the problem was the players. When I held a comedy night, I should have realized that people who kind of just apply to the SMP, not even YouTubers, wouldn't really be that funny. It was kind of just a bunch of dad jokes and stuff you'd probably find on Google, and that just kind of made me snap. There were no builds basically in the entire area of spawn, and any of them that were builds looked horrible. So I kind of just said, you know what, I'm gonna end the server soon. I'm gonna run one more building event, then I'm gonna end it in Minecraft. So I ran a little building event. I said, you know what, here's a little mock neighborhood. Everybody make a house for the neighborhood. I think it'll look cool. And then basically the same problem arose. Everybody kind of just made some little tiny houses that didn't really mean anything. And then I made this whole big build that I had built on a creative world. Then I put it into the server, spent a bunch of time getting materials, and it looked great. It was the Hello Neighbor house. I think I still have a picture of it. I'll put it up if I do have a picture. And then yeah, that was the only good build there. So I was like, you know what, whatever. We're ending the SMP early. For 24 hours, y'all can literally do anything. And it was not 24 hours. I hopped on, gave me and two other people creative. We kind of just did everything. I used world edit. I kind of just completely destroyed the SMP again. It was kind of just it was a redo of what happened originally. And, it kind of just felt like it would be repetitive if I kind of just tried to restart the SMP again. So the new plan is to, make a whole new SMP, a whole new idea. We're going to get entirely new people, because the problem was every single application that I got was horrible, and I was too quick to accept people, because I was just a dude who wanted to start an SMP. I didn't think it through whatsoever, and I should have. And now I have, and now I'm going to make a great SMP, and I'm going to get content for all you lovely people. And, as well, no hate to the people who I accepted. It's not their fault that I did so. It just happened to be that they aren't, really content creators. And, if they want to apply to the new SMP, become content creators, and go on a journey with me, then, feel free. I love it. They're fun. Some of them are decently funny people. They're cool. They're nice. And, they're not like the rest, but if anything, I want people that are like the rest. Everybody who wants to be a content creator, and then I'll be the different one. Which, now that I say it, kind of sounds self-centered, but, I just want to be a YouTuber because it's either this or I'm living in my basement, or I'm living in my mom's basement and I work at Pizza Hut 24 hours a day. So I mean, this is kind of it for me. And you know, actually, it's kind of not it for me. I could go to college and everything, but I'm definitely not going to do that because the only skill I have when it comes to school is art. Actually, I'm decently good at art. Here's some drawings that I made. If I put them up or not, then who cares? But yeah, I don't really know what else to talk about here. I think I might just end it there. That's probably like a 20-minute little rant that I made. What else could I talk about? Oh yeah, how about I go ahead and complain about each person the first season. Okay, so first season of the Burger SMP, there was the PvPers, right, and there was the builders. Kind of no in between. Actually, there was a little bit of in between. There was the PvPers, the builders, and then there was Skelly. Skelly is a real cool guy. Love him. You should probably subscribe to him or something. I don't know. That'd be pretty cool, I guess. But you know, anyways, there was someone. Let's call him Mr. Holes, because that was honestly his nickname, because his name had a hole in it. So I was like, I'm just gonna call him Mr. Holes. He didn't like the nickname, but of course I would still do it. He was the PvPer, definitely the PvPer of the server, and I kind of just, he would, like, every once in a while, he owned an SMP that I actually got banned from, which I don't know why he would join an SMP if he banned me from his, but whatever. All right, this guy will not leave me. Jesus. Okay. I love bows. Anyways. But yeah, he joined the SMP, you know. Him and a bunch of other people from that same server actually joined. I ended up just accepting all of them because they were, like, the only people that actually made content. Because, you know, Mr. Holes, he knew how to make a server, right? He had a bunch of cool people, cool content creators to join. And his server is kind of dead now, I'm not going to lie. But I think he's reworking it. But anyways, what else? Yeah, so eventually, after a while, there was just complaints about the rules from him and all of his little minions from his SMP, and I kept trying to fix them, and then there was more complaints, kept trying to fix them, more complaints, and basically at the end of it, they were just trying to turn it into a PvP based thing, and I think that and the fact that I even tried to do the idea just made it all crumble down. And, like, at the end, it was kind of them being the bad ones, because, I mean, it was just them complaining over and over and over and over, and it was just me, you know. I didn't really have any moderators or anything, so it was just me trying to do everything, and I also need moderators now. That's a new thought. How many people do you think have clicked off since I've started yapping? Because I'm still a teenager, and nobody wants to listen to a teenager yap. The only one listens to the adults. Okay, I keep getting off track. But Mr. Holes, that's what I called him. Let's go! Mr. Holes kept complaining, him and his groupies. Jeez, I'm keep trying to figure out where I was at. But yeah, it all just kind of crumbled. I had a bunch of rules, like, the rules were basically, for griefing wise, you could only grief underground builds, and I kind of, like, the basis for that was kind of weird because there was mountains all around spawn. People kept trying to build in the mountains. I was like, I guess I'll count that as underground, why not? And then, you know, basements kind of counted, so people would, like, try and grief bases, and then you could also steal from chests. So people would steal from chests, people would get mad at that. I'm like, I'm sorry, man, it's kind of just the rules. And I kind of just, like, the rules were like a wave. I had to keep changing them, every day. And I kind of just got sick of it, and then that's why I ended up ending the first season. Then the second season rolls around. There wasn't as much complaints. Barely any, actually. But most of the people on there, not really builders. That's the problem. Come on, come on, come on. Oh my god, oh my god, oh my god. Lock in, lock in, lock in. Okay, I'm locked in on the game now. I'm sorry. Oh god, he's good at bridging. He's good at bridging. No, oh my goodness, and okay. Yeah, I'm dead. Sorry about that. Alright, well, then second season rolls around, you know, people aren't really complaining as much, but everyone's not really a builder. That's the problem. I reset it, made it a building SMP, and then anybody who did built far away and made massive projects that didn't even end up getting finished before I ended it again. And that was just kind of the reason that I ended it. I don't know if that wasn't clear. I'm kind of just re-saying what I already said. So I mean, if you want to just click off now, I think that's about the story that you can get from that. But yeah. Anyways, new SMP. If you're wondering, the new basis for the SMP is there's 4 civilizations, kind of based off the civilization videos that you might have seen on YouTube from the popular YouTubers like I'm not sure their name and I'm not sure their name, and you know, it'll be 4 civilizations, but they're each based off of Minecraft skills and like how people play the game. You know, wanderers, like explorers, PvPers, builders, and grinders. And I'll try to find the best out of the bunch for each of those skills, and I think it'll go better than the other times because I'm actually going to get people who make content, and anybody else can, I mean this in the nicest way, you can go kick the dirt. What is that? Dog, what does that sound? But, you know, I think it'll go much better. I'm sorry if my keyboard's loud, by the way. Probably, I just realized it probably has been a bit loud the whole time. Duh. I'm an idiot. Alright, well, yeah, I think that's all to say. You know, join the new SMP if you really want to. Make an application, 30 seconds to 2 minutes. And I'll see y'all later, and like, subscribe, all the stuff. Dig. Oh, it's a technical base kid. Cool. How do I end this thing?